Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, so am I. This is just my second video, so you haven't missed much. In this video, I wanted to talk a bit more about what is it that I'm planning to do, because it does seem quite vague and also a bit confusing into the topics that I've delved into. And this part about writing a novel and creating art, it's really broad. So I wanted to narrow things down a bit so that you can also follow a bit more of what I'm doing, and maybe this can also translate into your life, and maybe you can also use some of the resources I'm using. You can also use some of the material I'm using. You can also make use of the practical skills, the courses, and so on that I will incorporate into my learning, and perhaps this will help you into your own path. A few years ago, I saw this guy, I believe in the pandemic, posting about dropping out of LSE and writing a letter to world leaders, mostly in business, about the best advice on how to be successful. And I remember watching this and feeling so inspired, but at the same time so scared about the concept or just the thought of dropping out of uni. Like, how could he ever, you know? From my background, I was always super academically driven. I always wanted to have the perfect score. I wanted to be involved in any school activity and also outside school, any sports, any clubs. And although this was part of, let's say, my day-to-day at school, later on it was something that really brought happiness into my life, to try different things, to try different hobbies, even when we were in the pandemic and there was really no way of actually continue doing this. I really kept a daily schedule in which I was learning a new language or learning how to play a new instrument or baking, and it really became part of who I was, a naturally curious person and a long life learner. So learning and educating myself was in part something in which I found joy. But then when I got into uni, that joy was far gone. I applied in high school for biochemistry in the UK. I graduated here in Vienna from an international school, and although I was also working on my singing and on classical music, I decided to pursue a career in natural sciences. I was working in something that was completely unrelated. I was working in human resources, working, of course, more on like admin based, as you can imagine, at the age of 17. But then I discovered that maybe that was not my path. I left the whole concept of creating away when I got into the natural sciences, and it really felt like it was bugging me because I was not being able to fulfill my full potential. And whenever I would say, yeah, I got into King's or Imperial to the biochem program, and yes, I'm super happy, and I worked my whole life for this. I really pushed for the scholarships. I really pushed to come all the way to Vienna, and I really enjoyed the subjects themselves. Maybe it was not only the subjects, but the fact that it was connected to the human biology, the human expression, the human anatomy. Everything that is related into us and our history and our expression and our creation has always been fascinating to me, until I realized that all of the topics were dragging me into, let's say, this common theme was that I actually had a bit more of a clear idea of what I wanted to do. So I didn't accept any of my applications for biochem, and I decided to take a gap year. That didn't go as planned at all, because I got bored really easily. I was also, really stressed about not being enrolled in a university, not living the student experience. I had many, many peers that were sharing with me. And it's not that I felt pressured by anyone, but it was just my expectation on my own learning, my own career path, development path. I was like, nope, we're going the wrong way. And so I was taking, 5 months? And this is 5 months I was learning German, or attempting to learn German, and working and really getting myself adjusted into not being a student, and so on. Then I decided to look for a degree that I could start doing in a more asynchronous way. Because after the pandemic, it was a really eye-opener that studying at the times and at the pace that I wanted was the most beneficial thing for me. I was clear on that. I was set on that. So I decided to find an online degree, and the University of London, with the academic direction of London School of Economics, offers a range of online bachelor degrees on economics, finance, accounting, business administration, and data science. So to keep my horizons and opportunities open, I thought data science would be the way to go, because then maybe I could go back into the natural sciences, or just in general having a basis that is so open. Data science was something that made me feel a bit more safe. And so I started. I applied, I got in, and I did the first 2 semesters. I was also working 30 hours while I was doing this. And by the second semester, I felt once more that something was missing. Not missing in the sense of I'm bored or it's not challenging enough, but that it was not just fulfilling what I felt like I was supposed to be doing. I wanted to give music another chance. I really never had music theory background, and that was a big challenge for me to ever apply to any conservatories or to any music universities. I always had more practical experience or private lessons or summer courses, and so when I applied to this conservatory, I had to really study music theory with a private tutor every single day. And well, I got in, and then I was doing at the same time working plus the conservatory plus the degree. This was just too much. I survived probably like 3 months. That was it. I really try to give it my all, like try to have a fixed schedule, try to run from one place to the other, but I would either miss a class or miss a meeting. So it was either or. And also when I came home, I was so overwhelmed with the to-do of both homeworks and pending assignments, also pending projects from work, that I didn't even know where to start with. And like, don't even get me started on the personal stuff. Like, yeah, I was also living alone and I have to cook for myself. I have to do the groceries. I have to keep the house clean. I have to go and work out. So 3 months, that was it. But mentally, I felt like finally I was meeting those 2 needs, the more scientific area of my brain and also the more creative side. But even in the conservatory, there was a huge emphasis on theory. So it really felt like I was doing just like theory and theory on theory. And then at work, it was the only practical side. It was the only part where I actually used my creativity. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So I stopped the conservatory. I continued working and continued studying data science. Then I had a personal change in the career path because I changed my position into something that was more aligned with my career, actually more with data science. And as I kept working, I also realized that maybe data science was a bit too back end, too strategic, but more of like behind the scenes rather than, for instance, leadership, management, and more involved with people. So I decided to change my degree to economics and management, not for the economics part, as you can imagine, mostly for the management. I was excited to make this change, and I also had this new position, so it was like, I'll keep going, I'll build my career, it'll be fine. It's just 2 more years to go. And I couldn't. I really couldn't. I could not sit down and study economics. It was Introduction to Economics. That was the class. I couldn't. I would do everything. I bought cute new notebooks. I got new pens. I just couldn't. I really tried. I tried to buy the books or download the PDFs or discuss about it with my friends. And it was really not getting anywhere. Last year I had a lot of personal changes, a lot of challenges along the way. And in one point last year, it was really one of the lowest points in my life. I had a big accident, and that really led me to reflect about what I'm actually doing with my time, with my attention, how I'm, directing my own life. Is someone else deciding what I'm doing with my time, deciding what I'm doing with every single day I wake up in this world? Because at the end of the year, I felt like I was living someone else's life. Maybe someone else's dream, having started a career so young and working while studying and getting all these amazing opportunities. Don't get me wrong, I feel so grateful, and it's great people that I've stumbled across that have led me to be here where I am, and of course the effort I've put into and the support of my family and the support of my friends. But that was not the life I manifested. That was not the life I was even looking for, or that I felt like I was creating. It just was being lived by me on autopilot. I decided to stop. Although it may have felt more easy for me to continue, let's say operational wise, mentally, it was not the right thing, and it was not the easier thing. It felt like a war every day. I wanted to sit down and try to study economics. I know it sounds exaggerated, but I really couldn't do it. So I stopped. I decided to suspend uni. Yeah, I'm not going to say specifically dropping out because I didn't retire from the degree, but I did suspend it. Also because I was healing from a lot of changes, both physical and mental, from last year. And the time off was really needed. So I gave myself time to think without the pressure of having more deadlines than I already have. I tried applying to music school, not gonna lie. Didn't get in, but it also didn't feel right even when I went to the audition. I was like, this is not the environment I want to be in. Not even the curriculum was something that would align with what I'm looking for. So that didn't work out. And of course, it's also something that should have worried me at the moment. Like, okay, this plan failed, that plan failed. What am I supposed to do now? I just need something. And of course, I found other degrees that I could continue around the topics that I like. But there is nothing that I feel like is really it. And I really am a feelings person. Nothing has really felt the way it's supposed to feel. Especially after all of these changes, I really started appreciating that feeling inside you of what tells you it's wrong or it's right. And this intuition that we sometimes really shush with the rushes and the hurries in life, then we get stopped by life. And I don't want that. I think I would rather stop myself and prevent letting things escalate. So I allowed myself to think. And yeah, I didn't allow myself to think for months or years. It was a few weeks. I have actually already started sorting things out. I, of course, keep working. And I'm starting to focus more on having my own learning path. Taking what I've learned from having this asynchronous material, of using a lot textbooks in order to learn, a lot of online courses, for example, has led me to the conclusion that we can really learn from available material that is out there. Of course, having the critical thinking skills of not consuming everything, but having criteria upon what is it that we will believe and how we will process it, analyze it, and then create upon it. A lot of the study curriculum, especially at middle school and high school level, are all about analyzing and being critical of the information we are ingesting and digesting. But we stop creating. Yeah, maybe it's the time for learning how to be critical, but I don't think we should stop creating at such a young age. And I feel like I lost so many creation skills, like creative writing skills or artistic skills, because I spent so much more time analyzing and learning about the history and the theories and although I do recognize it's important, I do crave to find a balance of both. So what I decided to do was to create my own learning path, as I've already mentioned, with material that is already out there. But how am I going to build it? Of course, I don't have the knowledge to just copy a curriculum of some university of some degree or of many and just combine them and have this long way of learning forever. Because it's just not going to be it. Not efficient and also with little to no direction. So I decided to reach out to some of the most well-known professors in the areas that I'm most interested in, such as philosophy, psychology, existential writing, literature, creative writing, scientific reviews, neuroscience, so on and so forth. And I decided to ask them for advice. So there's two groups, the more of like the social and natural sciences group, to whom I decided to ask for articles, books, and textbooks around the topics that delve into human expression, into extreme human emotions, mental illnesses, neurodiversity, and to this other more artistic group around writing, around visual arts, and also music, on practical tips and exercises in order to start developing my own style through practice. Of course, some history books and learning material that would also go into the theoretical learning that I believe I should be aware of. So this is something that I sent this Monday, actually. We are today on a Wednesday. And I've already gotten 2 replies from 2 professors. One of them was really direct to the point, like, all of this material is in my website, just help yourself there and filter to your criteria. And that's something that I'm really grateful for AI for, because the idea is for me to combine the direction that I want to achieve along with the time management and organization that AI can also provide to you, with the material that the professors are recommending to building this learning path, and also to set myself some deliverables and goals. That is the part that Works gives you, that I can be able to share with the world, to publish, to produce, and so on. And I hope to be creating this learning path in future videos. Also, not the deliverable itself from what I'm creating artistically is my goal to share, but also the process. I believe that is a sign of inspiration for other people that may have this feeling that they have made the wrong choice, and maybe they've finished the degree, but they want to see and to feel that someone else is also out there that maybe doesn't fit with the idea of university. A lot of us do, actually. A lot of people that, for instance, want to have their own business. I did find some inspiration and some empathy with these stories, but I really couldn't find something that was like, I want to dedicate my life into expressing neurodiversity and extreme human emotions. Just because. And although it makes so much sense to me, I know it really doesn't make much sense to most people out there. But the point is that it should make sense to you. And only you. It really doesn't matter. I also wanted to mention this other response that I got, and this professor was super, super helpful in recommending some more specific learning material and also even a course from a university. I will be sharing also this materials. I will make a little group of the different things that they are sending me. And I also want to open a bit more this sample size from the professors that I'm reaching out, not only the most renowned in the world and so on, I would like to have input from. Professors in my hometown did have recommendations, or in the city I live in right now, that may be easier for me to just walk up there to the faculties, just ask. Because what am I scared of? Someone just saying no, or I don't have the time. That is really not going to affect my own path. because there is so much more that is left for me to create and for me to explore and learn and for me to connect with. Actually, today I started looking on LinkedIn and seeking out for other professionals to connect with around this topic, because that is the whole point of networking, for us to make meaningful connections that are going to provide something to our own path, not just adding people and adding followers for the sake of having a bigger number. But hey, that's just my opinion. So I will hopefully in the upcoming days share with you the outcome, and I would love to share how I'm going to create this learning path. So hope you stay tuned and to find some more likely minded people, because you're not alone, and I don't think I'm alone either. That's the feeling I have. I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.